Finally, I can start using my sketchbook again. Ow. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Gail, and this is the Kintsugi Rose. I can't say Kintsugi because I went to the dentist recently and they put an expander in my mouth, and now I have a metal thing in my mouth and I can't talk anymore. But I still wanted to get you a video today, and what I wanted to do was make a video where I talked about my process in the moment and like have a lot of cuts to real-time work and real-time conversating. But fate had other plans because along with me trying to figure out how to talk again, I also got sick. So the whole time I was recording this, I never said anything out loud. So this is more of a speed paint today. But I still wanted to do this video because I found a pile of my old sketchbooks, and it turns out there were like 2 that were completely unused. And I'm like, dude, I gotta get into these sketchbooks and I gotta use them. There's just something aesthetically pleasing about doing work on a sketchbook and having your own little space to make all these mistakes or make really pretty drawings. And it's not digital, and you don't have to like drain your eyes and wait for the thinking battery on your pen to charge. Okay, I might need to calm down a little bit. But once I was ready to finally start drawing, I decided to remedy this by going back to my comfort show, Lord of the Rings. All right, I've rambled on long enough. Let's get into it. Wait, if my sketchbook's in reality and this is only an animation. Whoa. Dang, sorry about that. The transition to the physical world is kind of intense for me. I'm not used to it. But I wanted to show you my practice sketchbook where I do a couple hand exercises. And I want to show it to you because I don't see a lot of artists like showing their practices beforehand. So I want to just show like, hey, this is what gesture drawings are. If you don't see your favorite artist do it, they do it. I go to this website called Line of Action, and it gives me like 30-second gesture drawings. Word of warning for that, if you're gonna get gesture drawings, make sure they're clothed. That's all I'll say. Now, starting off with my real sketchbook, I wanted to make it fancy because this is the first like proper drawing I've done. So I put a title card and I drew my little Sona in there in this like meme format I found, where it's like asking someone if they like Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, and the person was like Lord of the Rings. I don't know who that is, but I think he might be famous. I'm not sure. And here I'm kind of moving fast, but it's just a bunch of thumbnails almost. So these are like just me planning out where I want people to be. And that's the pose I used for this guy. Faramir would be like the main thing on the page. Also, I am very sorry if it's hard to hear me talk or if I'm like stuttering. It's very hard to talk with this metal thing in my mouth for an extended period of time. You can only really hear it when I try to say like K words. I can't really say K or like CH words, but you know, we persevere. And here's me trying to work on the title. And oh, you can see I kind of messed up right there. I was trying to mark it in to look like Lord of the Rings, like the title card that plays when you open up when you first watch the movie. It was a little bit difficult, probably because I'm not good at like lettering. I've never tried that before in this kind of font. I've done bubble letters, but not like, I don't know, what do you call it? New Times Roman? I guess I could talk a little about the composition. I wanted that larger character, Faramir. I will talk about him more later, but I wanted him to make up like the main part of the page and everyone else to be like surrounding him. And I wasn't gonna make this a 2-page spread, but in the end I end up doing it. Here I'm just trying to draw myself. I guess I was checking the other page to see if it was bleeding through, but these smaller ones that I end up using for the whole thing, they were perfect. They never bled for the pages. And now I'm using my necklace to draw Narsil, which is an important sword in story. If you know anything about Lord of the Rings, I think this is like a really cheap necklace, by the way. If you have any Lord of the Rings fans out there, it's like on Amazon. Just look up like Narsil necklace. But yeah, I think it was only like what, $10 on Amazon. Yeah, it was pretty cheap. But yes, it has lore, but because some of you probably maybe haven't seen the movie, you're not allowed to know. And I guess I could spoil, but I'm not gonna do that to you guys in case you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, like, pause this video and go watch all the trilogies and read the books and come back. I'm kidding. You can do that after the video. Oh, here I tried to go in with this like metallic gel marker my mom had got for me, but I didn't like the look of it on the letters. I do use it a lot later on though, and it looks nice. But this gold pencil I had just worked a lot better. You can I guess you could say that that's like actually the ring, and that's why it looks a bit different. Now, the astute among you will realize, if you've seen the shows, that this isn't actually a scene from Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. I had to. I couldn't resist it. This is a scene from the extended edition of The Hobbit 2. I want to say it's called The Desolation of Smaug. That's kind of off the top of my head. But there's... to summarize it without much context for people who haven't seen the movie, although I don't know why you haven't seen it, but like, if you haven't seen it, there's just a scene where like some dwarves are in barrels going down a river, and one of the elves jumps on their heads, and they're like fighting orcs in the background. So that's the scene. But the extended version. And they didn't have that scene in the original version that I saw when I first saw the theatrical release, and I'm mad that it wasn't in there because it was so funny. I haven't taken a breath in a minute, hang on. I tried to draw like some orcs and elves fighting in the background, but they're so small and it looks like they're kind of just standing there enjoying life. The trees and rocks were really fun to draw, but I totally messed up on the water. I did these like lines to show like where it was flowing, but I feel like it messed it up, and I should have just kept it like kind of choppy looking. I feel like that would have looked better. Or maybe making the choppy like squiggles in the direction of where the lines were flowing instead of the lines. But it's alright. Now we get to Faramir, who is the captain of Gondor, if you couldn't tell. But he was the main person I wanted to put on the page. I think it was just something about a side character. Like, I can't pick in my good conscience. I can't. Okay, my monitor died. Hang on. I can't pick a favorite character out of the main characters. So to like draw in like this bigger format. But I really wanted to draw someone in a larger format than just like the small scribbles. So I picked Faramir. He's a safe option for me. Also behind him is the crest of Gondor, which is his country city. Wait, I'll get back to Faramir in a minute and I'll keep talking about him. But here I just did another scene from one of the movies. This was the first movie, and it's this scene where they're all walking through snow, and the elf Legolas is standing on top of it because Tolkien logic, elves don't weigh like anything. I'm not sure how that works, but it apparently, according to Tolkien, it works. But I just want to draw everyone like being mad at him that he's like avoiding trudging through snow where they aren't. But I don't think I portrayed that well enough. I just have everyone walking alongside him. I do have one of the hobbits kind of like stopping, and then the other one's like, Pippin, move. But that, I don't know if I conveyed that well. And the astute among you will realize that I drew the wizard Gandalf's head way too big, so I was trying to draw him a bit smaller and more, whoop, sorry about that. I was trying to draw him a bit smaller and a bit more along the lines of the other characters in the scene. I glued him in there, and then I made everything else a bit darker so I could hide his hat. And now back to Faramir. Okay, Faramir is, I think he's only in the last 2 movies, but he's definitely one of my favorites. Like, favorite characters for side characters. It's very hard for me to talk about a favorite character. I feel like I like everyone too much in this series. But yeah, Faramir is the... I'm trying to think of how to describe him for people who haven't seen the movie. He's like, uh, I'm trying to think of how to describe him without spoiling. Think like younger sibling desperate to show his quality. Wow, I'm bad at this. quality. Anyways, so in the movie, it's like mainly him proving that like he's cool too, and I think he proves that because I liked him enough to draw him on my book. I finally figured out how to draw his face, by the way. I feel like his face looks decent, but yeah, it took me a while to figure out how to draw Faramir, but I like how he turned out in the end, and yeah. It's kind of interesting because there are like two other characters that I won't go into too much, but like one of them is Strider. I will be drawing Strider later, and you can kind of see what I mean. But Strider's like kind of, he's known for this like black goatee almost, and I wanted to do Faramir's like beard, like because he's blonde, I didn't want to use the line art to go in and like fix his beard. But because I didn't do that, he ended up looking like this character from The Hobbit, and I kept seeing him, and I was like, I'm not trying to draw that guy, I'm trying to draw Faramir, and it was really hard for me. Oh, I'm pointing out to you that I'm doing his bangs now. I don't know why I showed you specifically that I'm doing his bangs, but there we go. Oh yeah, it takes a lot out of you trying to draw this quickly. Like, this isn't sped up whatsoever, everyone. This is my actual speed of drawing. Drawing in like hyper speed is very exhausting. It's bad for the wrists. I really shouldn't do it, but one thing I accidentally forget to mention again later, for Faramir's arrows, I didn't actually color in the feather part at the end. And I thought it was kind of a nice little reference because he comes from Gondor, which is known as the White City, and they have like a white tree, and they just have a lot of white symbolism. Maybe it's a little headcanon thing to like distinguish him from other people. I don't know. It's not canon at all. It's just what I felt like doing. And here, I really couldn't tell where I wanted the quote to go, so I just moved on to the next page, you know. When you have a problem, avoid it. Whoa, help jump scare. Sorry about that. I would have loved to tell you guys about that little thing I did with the arrows in the moment, but then again, because of how sick I was with the expander and how sick I actually got, I wasn't able to record my voice at all when I was doing this. Next time I do a video like this, I will be sure to talk about my process in the moment because I really like when people do that, and I wasn't able to do it. Oh yeah, I read The Hobbits, and that's the, it's kind of hard to see them, but, oh, here we go. Guess I'm on The Hobbits now. Can you tell this is unscripted? I kind of forgot what I did and like how I arranged the videos, but you know. This one's Samwise Gamgee? I can't say Gamgee. That's Samwise Gamgee, the main character's best friend. The main character's best friend. There's a lot of main characters in this movie, but whatever. We forgive it. He was like, I don't know why, I just think of him as the backpack guy. Everyone, I think, had like packs of clothes and stuff, but he's just iconically wearing that backpack. And he's awesome, honestly. He's, every once in a while when I'm watching a movie, I'll be like, I don't like this one as much as the rest of them, but there was no one in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit that ever fulfilled that role. Sam is awesome, but he would have been like the character I didn't like, and he just isn't. Now we go on to Mary Medoc. I will put the correct spelling on the page. Is it? Yeah, it's Mary Medoc. Something like that. I was like, but he was cool. I tried to like reference a bit of his like storyline in the drawing. For those of you who don't know, you don't know. You can't see it. Whoa, get my hand out of them. I gotta get my hand out of the camera shot sometimes. But for those of you who do know, you can kind of see where I was like referencing it, but it's very hard to see. And now I moved on to Frodo Baggins, who's the main character. And he's He's played by the actor Elijah Wood, but something about his smirk was just giving Tom Holland, and I didn't like that. So I moved on to the body because I avoid my problems before I fix them. And at some point I like just fixed it off camera, and I think it made him look a lot more like Elijah Wood and a lot less smirky. I think what I also did is like I gave him proper eyebrows, and before it looked like he was just like scrunching up his eyebrows, but now it worked. And I feel like Mary's like bangs looked a bit messy after I fixed them, but Frodo's bangs looked great, and I think the rest of his hair looks nice too. And I gave him the ring, of course. And then we go on to Peregrine Took, or Pippin. I also tried to reference a bit of his plot line in the picture by giving him the same crest of Gondor as Faramir has. For those of us who have watched it, we know that like Pippin and Pippin's plot, it just surprise cat inspection. Oh no. I didn't have to start over. Whew. Okay, that was the closest thing to approval as we'll ever get from Simba. But yeah, that was our co-producer. Sorry about that. He likes to drop in unannounced sometimes. I think Hobbits went well. Now we're moving on very quickly. Here I am drawing a like a prop from one of the other side characters. I was gonna draw that side character. His name is Boromir. But I really didn't feel like drawing another face because I was already like a little stressed out from drawing all the hobbits. And I just was like, you know what, I'll draw the prop for Boromir. And now I do have another confection. This is from The Hobbit, but if you know, if you happen to be a fan of Sherlock, you'll know that Sherlock is played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and Martin Freeman plays John Watson. And in this movie, Benedict Cumberbatch plays a dragon, and in The Hobbit, I mean, he plays a dragon, and Martin Freeman plays our main character. So I figured it'd be funny to like kind of jump in on this meme where the dragon's like, I am fire, I am death. And John in character is like, you are a drama queen, Sherlock. And then I kind of added it a bit more from a second meme I found where the Martin Freeman's character is like, why are you a dragon? And the dragon responded, it's for a case, John. It's just stuff that makes me laugh. And I wanted to make the horn prettier, the horn of the other character, Boromir. And I wanted to give it like kind of a vine texture almost around it. I draw those in with green later. I probably should have done with gold, but my monitor died again. But I wanted to reference it because in the movies there's a scene that like it's his like big moment, and you can hear this choir in the background, and it sounds like they're not saying words, but they're actually singing in the Elvish language because of course Tolkien made an Elvish language. But it's in the language of the elves, and it's this quote that is actually said by like another character close to Boromir. Here I'm working on Strider, who's another side character. He just kind of aura farms the whole movie. Like, I don't use a lot of Gen Alpha lingo, but he aura farms a lot. I did that little side sketch, but I'm gonna keep talking about them slower. That's Gimli. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to say Gimli with this thing in my mouth. But Gimli, I didn't like his hands, so I had to redo them. But I think they turned out pretty good afterwards. And that's Legolas, who is the elf and a resident drama queen. I'm sorry, I had to say it. And I think he turned out pretty good, but I need to like move up his forehead. So that was what you just saw. And I'm bouncing back to drawing Faramir and trying to get the colors right. I think it looked really good. I think I really liked how everything turned out. And that's saying a lot because I haven't drawn with coloring pencils in like forever. I know I keep saying that, but I really haven't. Yeah, it hurt, man. The pain is still like it gives me nightmares. But I saw a lot of artists on YouTube using colored pencils, and I was trying to use their like techniques of shading and stuff. I also did my character in the top, and I feel like the hair color was a bit too vibrant for blue. But now I'm moving on to this picture of Strider, looking very dramatic. I don't think I did it quite like Virgo Mortensen. I can't pronounce his name. I'm so sorry. blame the expander. But I did it very dramatically, and I liked it. No, go back. Okay. I'm also doing Gondor on the side. It's the White City. It's a very pretty landscape, and I really wanted to draw it, but it made me feel like one of those artists who does like the really miniature drawings or like miniature putting together-ness. Yes, that's real. With Strider, I had to do a green, like I wanted to make him kind of green, because in that picture it's like he's in a green room or something. So I put green pencil like on the underlayer to kind of give it that like green feel, and then I put all the hair together, and yeah, ta-da! It's done. I love it. I love how it turned out. There's just something about it that's very it's very, I don't know. It feels very like traditional. Oh my gosh, I can't word it correctly. My hand is so sore from doing all that coloring in these stinking things. Why are they so hard to use? If you watched it this far, thank you so much. Notes for myself. I mean, I have a couple things. First, I want to say I loved doing this. I feel like when artists have a smaller, like kind of doodly version of characters that they can use whenever. Like I used to do a lot of these smaller doodles, but it was never like, I don't think it was people. I think it was like video game characters or something that weren't people. But anyways, I never really used it on people too much, but now that I have, I'm like, this looks good. This looks good. I'm kind of obsessed with the shadows on both Faramir and Strider. I feel like they look really good. And I love the like the green tints with Strider. I'm surprised how good they turned out, because like I don't use colored pencils. I use a tablet. So I just try to layer it and like think, okay, if I was going to set this layer to multiply, what would it look like? Gondor looks awesome. I feel like one of those artists who do like those really small like miniature, like but really detailed miniatures, and yeah. The only thing I would change is this, because I messed up the proportions, I'd say. But aside from that, I think it's pretty great for my proper first attempt at like doing a spread in my life. I've never actually done a spread on 2 pages. So I love it. I love it. Now, if you'll excuse me, all the trilogies are calling my name again, so don't expect to see me until I finish all of those. If you made it this far, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and here are 2 other videos for your enjoyment of me drawing. Please go check those out. I worked very hard on them. Bye!